What's going on YouTube and cryptocurrency family? My name is Harry. I'm the crypto vet. Thank you so much for tuning back in. This video is going to be a little different. This is one of the videos in my course, and today we're just going to go over some of the most powerful software that I use to make my videos, make my charts, and how I make predictions and do everything that I do in cryptocurrency as well as in the stock market. And this software is TradingView. So what we'll do to get started is there's two ways that you can get to TradingView. I have a link in the description, which is an affiliate link, which I will get some sort of kickback. I'm not sure how much it is, but helps support the channel and helps me make these videos. So if you do want to do that, the link for TradingView is in the description down below. If you don't want to do that, completely fine. Other way is just to go to tradingview.com. Alright, so here is tradingview.com. To set up your account, first thing you want to do is going to go up to here where it says Harry Munsky 85. You'll click here, you'll set up your account. I'm not going to go through that part. I did that part before this and made a new account just to make sure my whole screen looked completely exactly like everybody else's, so that way no matter where you are, what you're doing, you can set it up to look just like mine if you want, or you'll know how to change it from setup to do it exactly how you like. So after you've made an account, excuse me, still recovering from being sick. Once you've made an account, you'll notice that this page has a lot of information on it. We have the S&P 500, different Forex markets from Euro to USD. We have crude oil, we have some crypto, which is what we're interested in. We also have some gold and silver. There's a lot of different things from markets to scripts. If you are wanting to edit your programmer, you can modify scripts so that way the charts work exactly the way you want. There's also people who are streaming, brokers, charts, and everything. So once you've made an account, on this right hand side you're going to see a lot of different ticker signs here. SPX, NDX, DJI, VIX, DXY. If you have no idea what these are, that's perfectly fine. We're going to get into that and explain what they do. So if you've been watching my videos, you've probably seen a lot of three symbol tickers all over the place, whether it be BTC, which is for Bitcoin, XRP for XRP, ETH for Ethereum. To get any of these type of charts that you want to pull up, you'll have to go to the search bar within TradingView, and it says here ticker. So from here you can type in anything from BTC, which is going to show Bitcoin, Bitcoin futures, Bitcoin to USD, Bitcoin to Euro. USD is going to be the ticker for the US dollar. EUR is going to be the ticker for the Euro. USDT is going to be the ticker for US dollar tether, which is a cryptocurrency. So all of these things here are going to be the most important thing you're going to need to do. So if you're into stocks or Forex and not into crypto, this video will be just as beneficial for you. It's just you're going to be using different information provided to your charts. Alright, so before we do that, I don't like how white everything is on this screen. It's too bright. It makes it hard for my videos. Then I get a lot of glare. Look how shiny my forehead is, right? So to change that, we're going to go to where you made an account and switch from light theme to dark theme. I like that. It's easier on my eyes. I usually wear contacts, but now that I've been around my desk more, I wear my glasses just to help filter the blue light and just less strain. But the dark color theme is a lot easier for me. So now that we have that, we're going to go ahead and take ourselves to one of these pages. So we have BTC here to USD. So what the hell does all this mean here? Well, we have the BTC to USD where it says Bitcoin to US dollar, but on this side it has exchanges. So this is going to determine which exchange you're getting the data from. So say you are trading on Bybit. Well, if you're trading on Bybit, you would probably want to see the information coming from Bybit, because the information coming from Coinbase is going to be similar because overall it's the same BTC to USD. But what if more people buy on Coinbase? The price could be slightly higher. Or what if more people sell? The price could be slightly lower. So we can pick any exchange that you want on this side for the ticker pairs that you're comparing. So let's say we want to see more data on Bitcoin, and you'll notice that on my charts I sometimes have Bitstamp or the Brave New Coin Index, or sometimes I have Bybit, which is where I mostly trade. The reason why is because the data is different, and also Bybit hasn't been around as long as Bitstamp. So Bitstamp is going to have more data, thus you can see a bigger picture of Bitcoin. So let's do Bitstamp here first. And as we click on Bitstamp, it's going to bring up a whole new page here. We still have a lot of the bars on the top. We still have this watch list and all that, and then a bunch of buttons on the side, which we'll get into. But once we clicked on Bitcoin to US dollar for Bitstamp, we get this thing here. It's going to show us the previous open here, or the previous close of the market. We have the open price of the market, the volume in the market, the day's trading range, so from the start of the day to the end of the day what the price was, and we also have this button down here that says full featured chart. If you want to get quick info, you can definitely use this information here, but if you really want to get into the charting aspect of it, this isn't the chart that you want to use. This is a summary chart just telling us what's happened and kind of where the price has been over this long duration of time. So from here we want to click full featured chart. It's going to open brand new chart, and it's going to give us everything that you guys usually see on my screen. And you'll notice that it's a lot different now. We have some boxes here. This is still a line. It's not the candlestick charts that we had. You notice that all the stuff on this right hand side isn't the same as mine. And well, where do you go from here? Well, from here the first thing I do is let's change some settings in TradingView. So this little cogwheel here at the top is going to be our settings. So from here you can change anything you want as to what the appearance of your TradingView account looks like. So from here it says symbol. We can change the price source, we can change what color the lines are, the fill, everything that you want in this line. So go through this and see what you like, what things are different. I wouldn't recommend adjusting any of the scales or the status line stuff. Just simply go down to appearance first. This vertical and horizontal grid lines are going to be what I change, and then some of my friends are colorblind, so I sometimes will change what the red and green looks like so that way they can see the charts better. So if you are colorblind, adjust the colors to what works best for you. So first things first is you can change this to anything you want. I believe I use this one or this one because the black was just a little too dark. So let's just go with this color for the vertical grid lines. I'll go with this color for the other grid lines. And if I hit OK, you can see I got rid of those grid lines. I don't like them. If you like them, by all means, go ahead and change that however you like. The scale text here is going to be what size this is. So if I change this to 14, it's a little bit bigger, probably better for my old man eyes there, right? So I can actually see what I'm doing. And then this is also going to have, if you're actually doing the paper trading and practice stuff, this is going to show positions, orders, and how everything looks together. So we'll just hit OK on that. So what do we do once we're in here? So we have on the top left, it's telling us BTC to USD. So this is exactly where we typed in the other screen how to pull up this chart. So we have BTC to USD, and we also have BTC to USD coin. Make sure you do the US dollar. USDC coin and USDT are both cryptocurrencies, and they're supposed to be pegged to the dollar, but it doesn't mean you're going to get the exact same information. So make sure you're using US dollar. If you're in England or in Europe, make sure you use the euro. If you're in Australia and you want to trade on the Australian, just make sure you have the correct ticker and pair. If you're not trading crypto, you can go to stocks, futures, which we'll go over in a minute, and anything that you want to trade, because all of this stuff is going to apply in the exact same way. So now that we know up here we have Bitcoin to US dollar, it says 1D and then Bitstamp. The 1D is telling us that we are on the daily chart. So that means every point of data is 1 day. And if you look on the bottom, let me go to here, it shows 05 July 20, 06 July 20, 07 July 20. If I come up to where this D is, I can switch it to any other time interval. So let's say 1 week. Now if I come down here, it says 07 May 18, 21 May 18th, and it's extending its way all the way down. Well, so I say, well, this still doesn't look like your charts. And that's because we're still set on the line chart. So to change that, up here at the top, there's a little thing here, and it shows different ways to display the data. We can display it as the bar chart. Typically used in stocks. We can use candles, which is what I typically use. We also have hollow candles, which shows a little gap in between, completely your preference. We have Heikin-Ashi, which is going to change it based off of trends. So you'll notice here that we have a little green, red, green, red. If we switch it back to, say, the candles, you can see the actual correct open, close direction. As in the candle body, we have 5 points of information. We have the opening price, the closing price, the high, the low, and then the direction, or which way did it do compared to the other. So in this instance here, we have a red candlestick. We have the highest price that it reached, the lowest price that it reached, and then where it opened and where it closed, and that it was lower than the previous close, being red, whereas this one was higher than the previous close, so it's green. So there's many other ways to do that, and we're not going to get into that in this video. We're just going to stick with the candles. All right, so the next thing is how do we just move and manipulate the screen? Once you have, say, the weekly, the time frame you want, so we'll just go back to the daily, and we have the correct candles that we want. We know that we're on the chart that we want. Now, if you click anywhere, you can move this around. If you can't move up and down, it's because the bar down here on auto is locked. So I will get rid of me real quick, and right down here at the bottom it says auto. So if I scroll in and up on my scroll wheel, it's going in, and I can move left and right, but I can't move up and down. So to move up and down, you can do two things. You can just go up and down by clicking in this region, and then you can go up and down, or if you just unclick auto, you can then go up and down. If we have it on auto and you scroll in and out, it's going to just pull everything together in a way that you can see as much data as possible for the area that you're zoomed in on. But a lot of times I like to make everything a little smaller, get a bigger picture of what's going on, move things around so I can have other indicators and whatever it does to appease how I want things to look. Alright, so that's just a little bit on how to move things around. You'll notice that right next to auto, there's also another button. It's called log. So auto is putting you on the linear scale for the chart. So the linear scale means everything on this side is going to correlate with the data on this side. So you're going to see 1,000, 1,000, plus 1,000, plus 1,000, and the increments going up on the right-hand side as 1,000 each time. If I switch to the log scale as well, you can see as I zoom in and out, the prices changing on the right-hand side to accommodate more data, and this whole chart is starting to look a little bit different. So way down here, we see that the price was $86, and then up here it's 17,000. Well, that doesn't seem like a very big gap for it to go to 17,000, and that's because now the scale is logarithmic and it's a percentage change as we're going up. So make sure you know which one you're using, because the data is going to be mostly the same either way. It's just your trend lines could be slightly different based on where you put them. So always pay attention to which scale you are on as you are charting and learning what to do. Alright, so now we have Bitcoin. We know what our time frame is. We can change it to whatever we want. We can go, alright, I'm done looking at Bitcoin, I want to pick another one. Well, every time you're switching between charts, you may not want to just completely go away from this one. So on this watch list over here, let's go ahead and add something else that we like. So let's use BTC exclamation point. So BTC exclamation point is going to be the futures. So the CME, or Chicago Mercantile Exchange, futures for Bitcoin will be under the futures tab, and it's usually depicted by an exclamation point afterwards. So if we look here, we can see that there are multiple ones. The one that I always use is going to be the 1 exclamation point. This is going to be the continuous current contract in front. So by clicking on that, we can see that it moved Bitcoin to this side, and you can scroll, you can select it, hold it, and you can move it anywhere you want. So let's just bring it up to the top. And you'll change these however you like. If you want to keep some of the top stocks on here, you can. S&P 500, the Dow Jones, whatever you like. I keep the Dow Jones and the SPX or S&P 500 just because I like to keep an eye on them. But if you like Apple, Tesla, Netflix, if you have any of these stocks and you want to keep them, by all means, keep them there. So now I click on it, and it brings up the Bitcoin futures chart. And from here, you're going to see the chart looks a little bit different than the other one. And that's because Bitcoin is traded 24/7. Being traded 24/7, there are no gaps. The Bitcoin futures, or any of the futures, are not traded 24/7. They're closed on the weekends. And you'll notice that we have little gaps here, here, and if we keep scrolling back, we have even more gaps in different places, okay? So, you can save charts that you like and other things that you want and just keep them here on this side. And you'll notice that on my personal TradingView account, I have XRP, I have Ethereum, I have VeChain, I have Monero, and I have all these different cryptocurrencies that I watch and track all the time. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and hide my cam again, and let's go ahead and look over here on the right. No matter which one you pick, so if I just say I'm at Bitcoin right now, let's go ahead and add another one, let's say XRP. Make sure we go to cryptocurrency, because if you don't go to all or crypto, you're not going to see it. So now we have XRP to the US dollar, and then we have Bitstamp, Bitfinex, and we can go all the way down and see a ton of other different exchanges. So let's just go ahead and use the Bitstamp, because Bitstamp has been around a while. I'm going to drag it all the way up here, and we're going to click on it. When we click on it, you'll notice that it still keeps our candlestick patterns, it keeps the time frame that we had it in, and that is always going to be listed up here in the top. So make sure to pay attention to that, because it's real easy to start clicking away and things will start to get changed. So down here at the bottom right, we can see now that we have XRP. It tells us which exchange it is, the current price. This on the bottom is basically a candlestick that we have right here turned sideways. So it's showing us that this was the one price, other price, these are the wicks left and right, and it's green because right now we're currently trading in an uptrend or an up direction. All right, so this can be really useful for just taking a quick glance to see what this data is, expanded just slightly. You also know if you scroll down that we have technicals. This is the TradingView's view on the current cryptocurrency, and it's based off of oscillators. I think if you click on it, yep, it'll bring up their technical analysis of XRP. Just a summary. I don't use this personally, but I do know that a lot of people see this and they go, strong buy, man, I'm in, right? So it's just something to take a look at. It's going to show the different oscillators, which are a bunch of different indicators that I use, which we're about to get into how to add those and how to change them yourself. And then it's also showing a bunch of different moving averages and whether or not it's a buy signal, neutral, or sell. So just something that you can look at, and you can change this between any time frame. So on the monthly, which is a macro trend, which is what we want to look at more than anything, all of them are saying buy, strong buy, strong buy. Versus the weekly, same thing. The daily is when we start to show that our trend has been a little in the bearish sense. On the 4 hour, we're bearish. On the hourly, we're kind of neutral bearish. So this could kind of show us that, okay, maybe we're about to have a slight trend reversal. This doesn't mean that the whole thing's going to go to zero. It just means that based off the oscillators, more likely to sell because the price will go down a little bit, but in the long term, on the monthly, showing that it's a very, very strong buy. Okay, so now what are all these other buttons on the right? So just to go through these real quick, this top one here is going to show us our watch list, the information on the current crypto and the price. This here is the alerts that I will let y'all know when I wake up randomly and record a video. You can create an alert. So for, let's say, XRP, we can do crossing up, crossing down, moving up, exiting, entering. So you just pick what alert you want to happen. So crossing is one I use typically. Value, let's say I want to know when XRP goes over 60 cents. I'll do only once, and I have show pop-up, send info, notify on app. I usually just do send email, and that's because I have email alerts on my phone, and if I'm sleeping it pops up as a different noise. I'm pretty familiar with the noise. Thus I get alert name going up, whatever you want to call it, and the message is XRP is crossing 60 cents, and it lets me know, hey, I need to come out here and take a look at the charts, potentially make a video. So if you want those same kind of alerts, you can create those yourself. There's also this tab here, which is the news tab. A lot of the news that I send out on Twitter, I sometimes find on here, as well as several other websites. But if you want some quick news, you want to read about crypto, this is a good place to get it, and it is also based off of whatever one you're on. So if you noticed, this says headlines for XRP, and that's because we're on the XRP chart. Well, let's go ahead and go to BTC futures, head back to the news, and now it's showing news related to Bitcoin. So just some quick things that you can do here. The other tabs are going to show data window, which is the same price, the same info that we have down here just now, put into a smaller data window to make things less cluttery. And then there's a lot of other things from the hot list, which you can change to what you want. Or sorry, the hot list is what's going to be the biggest gainers, biggest losers, and different things that you can show how you want to see if you want that. There's also a calendar of events, there's ideas that you can post, Forex trading, recent chats, you can have your ideas streamed, notifications, and a bunch more. But let's go ahead and head back to the main one that we see, and we'll go ahead and close that down for now. Alright, so now what about the different technical indicators and all this stuff on the left? Alright, so the first thing is this little plus here, this is the crosshair. Anytime you are changing anything or trying to select anything, you have to make sure to have this one selected. So if I grab this little paintbrush here, this is where it's going to let me do anything that I want. So if I wanted to draw a heart or anything like that, I could do that here in the side. But if I want to delete it, you can't just click on it again. It's just going to make more stuff. So you'll have to actually click, find the item with the cursor, and if you like a dot, you can have a dot. If you like a arrow, you can have an arrow. And then the eraser would be to erase anything. But I like the cross because the cross gives me dotted lines, horizontal and vertical, that I can use to kind of line up stuff. So I'm like, okay, right now this bottom of the wick is right at 0.56888, which is below what we're currently trading at, which is the thin green line, if you can see it on there. Alright, so the next one is the most important tool of all of these in my opinion, and this is the trend line. And for this trend line, you can have plenty of other things. And we're not going to go over all of them, but you can play around with them. So we'll start with the regular trend line. Anywhere you click, it'll make a point. And now you can try to justify where you think is the best point to put a trend line. And it's one click, next point, click. From here, you'll have a new toolbar pop up, and you can change the settings on it. And you can make the line thicker, you can make it a dashed line, you can make it an arrow going one way or the other. You can change this to however you like. You can add some text on the end that says whatever you want, and however you want to chart that is comfortable for you. Okay, we can change the color. We can do so many things with this little bar up here, and you can move it around anything you want. But the trend line is really, really powerful. This is how I bring up my supports, my resistances, and everything in between. Other ways to use this same tool is going to be horizontal ray, there's vertical ray, and play around with them, see what they do, and again, they will always pop up with a little bar so you can change it to whatever and however you want it to be. Okay? Alright, the tool below that, actually we'll do one more out of this one, and we'll just do the parallel channel, which is another very common one that I use. On this one, it's going to start as a single line, and whenever you click the second spot, it'll bring up the channel, which is going to be a perfect parallel channel to whatever your initial trend line was. And again, you can adjust things from the gradient to how thick it is, whether it's dotted, really bold, anything that you like to make your point or easier to read as far as your charts go. Alright, so let's say you have a bunch of crap on your charts, you've moved them around, and you want to get rid of some of them. Down here at the bottom, you can do two things. You can use the trash can to delete all of them, or you can use this little eye tool just to make them disappear. If you click it again, they'll come back. So in our case, we're going to use the remove drawings to get rid of all of them. Alright, so we're going to go down one more, and we have this tool. It's usually going to start as the pitchfork. And when you click on it, there's lots of other tools, and we can't get into all of them right here, but there's two that are really, really important that I use all the time. One is the trend-based fib extension, and then the other one is the fib retracement. So for the fib retracement, we can go to a high, down to a low, and we can leave it there and just adjust it out. And we can just see where different points are. And if you notice from this high to the low, there's so many points where it came to exactly, candle bodies came exactly, candle bodies came exactly. And we'll get into this tool later on, but it is a very, very powerful tool to help you know where we could potentially be going and what a support or resistance may be. And a support would be a price below the currently traded price that we think it will not go below due to trading volume. A resistance is a price above currently traded price that we think is going to be hard for the price to go over. So, and we'll go into how to actually use that later, but for now, this is where you can play around and actually learn how to use these different tools. The trend-based fib extension is very similar, but from here you're going to go from a low to a high, then down to another low. And what this does is it's saying as our trend is going, where is the fib lines, and it's going to adjust where our 0.5, 0.382, 0.236 are. And if you notice on this one, for this current rally on XRP from the start to the high to the next low, we have been trading very, very closely to these different ones. So, based off of this, we could say that it's probably less likely that we're going to go back below 57 because now we have this strong support, which was acting as resistance over here, okay? So, just a couple tools in this bar to remember. We already went over the brush tool, but also in here, we have other drawing tools that are really, really important. We have the rectangle, ellipses. The rectangle is something that I use a lot. And this is where I draw zones of resistance or zones where I would buy, and you can use these tools however you like. All right, the one below this one is going to be our text tool, and you can also do little flags, arrows. So if I just draw here, it's going to bring up a window. Oops, I hit F something there. So let's just say text, hit OK. We'll say we want it to be red, and we want it to be bold. We hit OK. So now we have this little thing that we can move around. We can make it much bigger, and you can help put markers if you're trying to show off a point in your current chart. All right, below that, we have another very important set of tools. This is where it can get a little bit more complex. We can draw head and shoulder patterns. We can draw Elliott wave impulses. So like Elliott impulse waves are something that I use. So we can go up and represent an impulse wave, which this would be technically a little bit incorrect, but you get my point. You can draw any of these things once you understand how to use the certain tool. If we wanted to use the Elliott impulse wave, what we'd have to do first on this is, let's say we draw two trend lines. It's kind of weird because it actually has these dotted lines, which I'm not used to. Okay, so we have a symmetrical triangle here. If we wanted to use the Elliott impulse wave, I would actually use the triangle wave at this point, because we're coming into a triangle, we're bouncing in between, and from here is where we'd usually see the break to the upside if we were to break this resistance and follow the Elliott triangle wave. So just play around with the tools. If you don't know what the tools are, how to use them, Google them. I'm going to try my best to get videos out on some of the most important indicators that I like, but I wanted everybody to get an idea of how to use TradingView first and how to actually kind of look at charts on their own and also understand where I'm coming from in my videos. If you've never looked at charts before, my videos can get really confusing just because I'm going over stuff as if everybody understands as much as me, and I completely get that. So definitely wanted to do this to try and help out a little bit. Another important tool here is the head and shoulders, where we find a neckline, we have a left shoulder, we have a head, and this may be hard to visualize right now at the moment, but there's head, left shoulder, sorry, head, right shoulder, and now we have this said pattern. And when we look at these type of patterns, it's usually because we have a, let me move this for just a second, it's because we have a high, a higher high, a lower high similar to the first high, and we have a neckline. When we break the neckline, we usually move in a direction similar to the height of it going into it. So, this pattern hasn't completely played out, but we did have a heck of a drop right at the neckline, very similar in price. So, this is just different ways to find patterns and see things that are in the chart. And now if I overlay this head and shoulders pattern, you may be able to see it, visualize it just a little bit better, okay? And there's a ton of other different ones on there. This tab here has very, very important ones. This is where I come up with my long and short position. So if I hit the long one, we can go to what the current price is, and if we click there, it's going to bring this up, and we can say, all right, I want to enter a trade right here. I'm going to put my stop loss below the previous low, and I think it's going to go up to at least here. And we can see now that this is a 3.6 risk-reward ratio. And I can see on the right-hand side the price I want to take profits at and the price that I want to put my stop loss at. So this is very handy for trading, and you can also do this in the opposite direction. I'm going to say it's going to go down. You notice that the red and green colors have just flipped. If the price was to say go above this point, and I think it's going to come all the way back down to where it was before, almost a 3 risk-reward ratio, and this can help you plan and also get ready to put in the numbers in your orders for your trades on Bybit or whatever platform you're using. Okay. Another really important one is for measuring, because we have date range, which is going to help you see how long it is from left to right. We can also do price range, which is going to let you know the price as it goes from left side to this side is showing a 19% change. So this can help you measure things. If you just want to measure something quickly, there is the measure tool here, but after you click and move, when you try to click again, it goes away. So if you don't want the stuff to go away and you want to keep the measurement there, use the price and date range here, or use the price and date range, which will make it exactly like the measure tool. But in this case, this one will stay, this one will go away. The tab below that is just going to be little emojis and things. So you can say this chart sucks, I give it thumbs down. So use this stuff however you want, but know that everything over here is just going to help you figure out the patterns that you see and help you chart and learn where to go from here. Okay, so now that we have all these out of the way, we have the zoom tool so we can zoom in and out. This is the magnet to help your trend lines actually attach to the points. So you can see that now it's kind of locking on to different points to make sure that it's actually binded to where you want. I turn this on and off as I go. So this is to stay in drawing mode, lock it in and out, lock all drawings, and then this again was to hide all drawings. Alright, so say we have some trend lines. Well, trend lines aren't enough to come up with the fact that we are going to break up or down. So coming up here we have even more tools. So templates are going to show templates that other people have or that you have saved. Financials is going to be a little bit further as far as income, balance sheet. I don't think you'll ever have to use this tab. The tab that you will have to use is the indicators tab. The indicators tab is where all of the special moving averages and things that I use are located. So if you go up here and you go to built-in, we're just going to do moving average. And if we look right here, it says moving average and then moving average exponential. So what I would do is star both of these, because this is going to be your simple moving average and this is going to be your exponential moving average. Another one that you're most likely seen me use is RSI, or relative strength index. So we'll go ahead and throw a star on that. We'll type in MACD. See MACD here, we'll throw a star on that. We'll type in volume. Go to where it says volume, hit a star on that, and that's actually what these bars are here on the bottom. And then one that you won't have that you always see is the volume that I have on the right hand side. I guess it'll be on this side up here, is the VPVR, but that is only going to be if you have a paid subscription. So something else that we could use that would be important, we could try the Bollinger Bands. Another important one, we can do things like the TD sequential. Which I don't believe the TradingView has a built-in one, but you can see that there's a lot of them in the public library. Just be wary of these until you understand how the actual indicator works, because these are edited scripts by other people. Now most of the time they're copy and paste, but you know, just make sure you know what you're using. Okay, so let's go ahead and just say Bollinger Bands. I'm going to hit MACD. I'm going to hit moving average. I'm going to hit relative strength index. As I'm clicking all of these, it's putting them into the chart. Now, this isn't a paid account like I use, so you can only put so many indicators on there at once. So if you want to have more indicators at a time, you will have to pay for it. So let's go ahead and see. So we have the BB20 closed Bollinger Bands. So we can see that it added this indicator on, which is showing the distance between and showing that we're constricting and there's a higher chance of volatility, and that XRP is currently trading at the bottom range of these Bollinger Bands. So we could say that the chance for an explosive move in volatility is more likely to occur sooner rather than later. So as we got into this triangle, Bollinger Bands are big, got tight. So, you know, this is just one indicator. I'll explain them more in the future, but for now, just to show you how to put them on. If we come over here to the left-hand side, there's a little eye. We can make it go away, make it come back. And then we can also change what data it has. I don't recommend changing this for now, because until you understand what these numbers do, because if you see, if I change this, it's making things bigger and smaller, and you want to trade on the same indicators that everybody else is. So for exponential moving average though, if we click on it, it's set to 9. Now, most of the time, we are going to be trading on the 20 daily exponential moving average and the 20 weekly exponential moving average. So if I type in a 20 on the length, always keep your sources closed, and then instead of doing same as symbol here, we want to do it as week. And now, what did that do? This is now counting the weekly data instead of the 4-hour data that you're currently seeing on this chart. So we can also change this to daily. And on mine, I have both of them up there at the same time. But, you know, like when you're first learning the chart, it's just good to have what you can and see what you can. Here at the bottom, this is completely different data than the data that's up here. So since this is an oscillator, it is going to show it here at the bottom. And you can use this bar here to slide them up and down. You can use this bar to independently change the scale. So I always like to see the actual dips and moves. So I like to adjust this to where I can see it. So now we have a chart that has two trend lines showing a symmetrical triangle. We have the 20 daily exponential moving average trend line here at the bottom, showing us that we have support here. We have increased volatility due to the
constricting of the Bollinger Bands, and then we also have a MACD that is potentially moving up to form a bullish cross here. So we could say that XRP has a higher likelihood due to the fact that it started a bull run, formed a bull flag or pennant, that there's a higher chance that we break to the upside to potentially meet a bullish target of probably around $1.10. Okay, so this is how I use all these indicators to put a whole narrative together, because if I just hide all of everything, it's a little more difficult to tell that we were going to go up versus down, right? So this is why we go over all these things and try to come up with a picture, and these pictures or narratives are based off of what we've seen in the past and how market prices and structures in the past have come to fruition now. So I hope this video helped out a little bit. There's other things that you can do. We can go ahead and do the replay. If you click this, I can click at any point in time. Oh, you have to have an account, but if you click here, it'll delete everything else on the chart, and you can hit play, and then it'll show you how market structure changed over time, so that way you can test how your strategy worked in the past and things like that. But I guess you have to have a paid account to use that feature. Again, you have the alerts up here. This is where you can save the templates that you make. So if you really like this one, save it. You can send a snapshot, upload it to Twitter. I think it has a Twitter option. And then at the bottom, you can use these things to do stock, crypto, forex. The Pine editor was for, if you know programming, you can add this in here. If you have the paid account, you can use strategies where it actually trades for you and shows you highs, lows, buy-ins, buyouts, or sell-offs, and see how the script has performed to see if you want to copy it. And then the trading panel is what I recommend, and use paper trading because it's free. And by connecting paper trading, you can actually buy and sell on this chart just by where is it at? By opening up the different brokers lists. You can come to here, show order panel, so in the settings, and then from here I can buy or sell as if I was really trading on Bybit or on Bitstamp, and see how your trades actually work. So lots of stuff that you can do in this software. I hope this video helped just a little bit to understanding how I use this software and to why it's so powerful and why I actually pay for the other indicators, because I like to have a lot of information at my disposal. If you have any questions, please hit me up in the Discord. If you like the video, please like the video, subscribe. This course is going to be completely free. This is actually about the 6th or 7th time I've recorded this video, just because I've been trying to make it more concise, and I've had other people watch it to see what information was actually helpful who know nothing about this, and then what information they thought was useless. So let me know what you think, and thank you guys, and I'll catch you guys in the next episode.